Hey friends, it's week 3. We're still learning at home and Miss Brown still misses you so much. This week we're going to read another one of Miss Brown's favorite books, and this week we're going to read Corduroy. Now Corduroy is a bear and he wants to find a home. That's the main idea in our story this week. We're going to read this book and we're going to identify some different story elements this week. But I want you to notice something before we get going, because Miss Brown already has made a connection. This stuffed animal is walking around at night by himself. He's walking around. I don't know of any of my stuffed animals that walk around by themselves, but I do know of a group of toys that like to walk around in Toy Story. Have you ever watched Toy Story? You remember how all those toys like to walk around and be silly? Yeah, Corduroy's kind of like that. He walks around when the people can't see him. All right, before we get reading this book, which is super fantastic, it has some really big, amazing words in it that Miss Brown wants to go over with you before we start reading. Our first word that we're going to go over is called toppled. Toppled. Corduroy is going to topple. If something topples, that means it's kind of fallen. It fell over and it was on accident, so like he toppled down the stairs. Another word in this book that we're going to read is dashing. If something is dashing, normally we talk about a boy when we say that something is dashing, like the prince is dashing in the story. It just means that you're handsome. So when Miss Brown gets to that word, just remember that we want Corduroy to be handsome. Another word in this book is an escalator. Now that's what Corduroy was on, and he was on those steps, and those steps actually move up and down on a motor. I don't know if you've ever ridden on an escalator before, but they're moving steps. So Corduroy isn't actually walking up those steps, he's standing on them and the steps move. That's called an escalator. There's one at the mall. If you've ever been inside of Dillard's, there's an escalator and you can ride the steps to go up. And our last word that we're going to worry about or learn about today is a watchman. Can you say watchman? Watchman. A watchman is kind of like a security guard or a police officer, and he is watching the store at night to make sure nothing happens in the store. All right, so we have toppled, means something falls accidentally. Dashing means we want to look handsome. An escalator is moving steps that you can go up, and a watchman is kind of like a police officer. So we're going to read our story. And while we're reading, we're going to identify some story elements. All right, are you ready? Get your listening ears on. This book is Corduroy, and it was written by Don Freeman. He also was the illustrator, so that means he wrote the words and he drew the pictures. Corduroy. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things. But no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. But then, one morning, a little girl stopped by and she looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much money already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost a button on one of his shoulder straps." Uh-oh. How do you think Corduroy lost his button? He's missing a button on his overalls. Let's see if we can figure that out. Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. He's not feeling very happy. "I didn't know I had lost my button," he said to himself. "Tonight, I'll see if I can go and find find it. You think Corduroy's going to find his button? Let's make a prediction. Do you think he'll find his button? Yes or no? Keep your prediction in your head. We'll come back. Late that evening, when all of the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf, and he began searching everywhere for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor move under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped on the escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain? Corduroy thought. I've always wanted to climb a mountain. Is it a mountain? It's taking him up. Let's see where it goes. He stepped off of the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was the most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows and rows and rows of beds. This must be a palace. Corduroy gasped. I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace. He wandered around admiring the furniture. This must be a bed. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed. And he climbed up onto the large, thick mattress. And then, all at once, he saw something small and round. What? Here's my button, he cried. And he tried to pick it up, but like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and he pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. He fell and went bang into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a loud crash. Toppled. That's one of our words we're listening to. So that means he fell in an accident. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman. He was going on his rounds on the floor above when he heard the crash, and he came dashing down the escalator. Now, who in the world was that? He exclaimed. Somebody must be hiding around here. The night watchman's looking for him. He flashed his light under and over the sofas and beds until he came across the biggest bed of all, and there he saw 2 fuzzy brown ears sticking out from under the covers. Hello, he said. How did you get upstairs? I don't know. Corduroy's not moving anymore. He quit moving when he saw a person. Let's keep reading. The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm, and he carried him down the escalator, and he sat him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. He took Corduroy back to the toy shelf. Did he find his button? No. Let's see what happens. And Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store that morning, and there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he had seen the day before. There she is. She's back. I'm Lisa, she said, and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night, I counted what I saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home. Hazel went to sleep in our video, too. Shall I put him in a box for you? The sales lady asked. Oh, no, thank you. And she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight into her own room. Corduroy blinked. there was a chair and a chest of drawers, and along a girl-sized bed, there was a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. This must be home, he thought. I knew I always wanted a home. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and she began to sew a button on his overalls. I like you just the way you are, she said, but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened. Lisa gave Corduroy a new button. So that's our story. That's Corduroy. We tried to predict if Corduroy was going to find his button or not. And he didn't find his button in the store. But where did he get his button from? That's right. Lisa gave Corduroy a button when she bought him and brought him home. All right. So today we're going to work on story elements with Corduroy. All right. Are you ready? Say, I am smart. I can identify character and setting. All right. Now remember, we've talked about character and setting. The character is who the story is about, and the setting is where the story takes place. Miss Brown's already got us a storyboard over here that we're going to fill in this week. So our title of our book is Corduroy, and then our character, our main character is Corduroy, and Corduroy is a teddy bear. He's a teddy bear. And the setting in this story is Corduroy's at the store. I have him on the shelf with the toys because he lives in the toy department until Lisa buys him. So, when you get finished listening to Miss Brown's story today, you're going to take a piece of paper. You're going to fold it in half so that you have two sides, and you're going to draw Miss Brown a nice detailed picture of a character and the setting. Now, of course, there's more than one character in our book. There's Corduroy, and there was Lisa, and there was also the store and Lisa's apartment. So you can pick whichever character and setting you want to write about. Miss Brown chose her character to be Corduroy, and I chose my setting to be the store. And I drew a detailed picture of each. So that's how we're going to identify character and setting. When you get done with character and setting, you're going to go over the letter U. All right, what does U say? U says like an umbrella. So there's some U slides for you to sort pictures that start with U, and also for you to sort pictures that have a U in the middle of the word. So let's sound out the word bus. Are you ready? Sound it out with me. B-us. Bus. Now U is in the middle. So you're going to work on identifying U. Your spelling words this week all have a U in the middle for you to work on spelling out words with a U. I know you can read them. You're super smart. When you get done with that, your sight words are on there also for the week, and the sight word story with the fireworks that you like to read. I'm very proud of how hard you've been working the last 2 weeks. Let's see if we can work even harder this week, okay? Your challenge activity today is to find something that starts with the letter U. If you can't find something that starts with the letter U in your house, like an umbrella or a unicorn, see if you can find something in your house that has a U in the middle. Like a toy bus or a toy pup, like a puppy, like Hazel, who's enjoying her nap. All right, Miss Brown loves you. If you have any questions, let me know. Finish your Google Slides with your big brothers and your big sisters, your moms or your dads, and I will see you soon. I love you. Bye, friends.